all across.
Yeah, WavyOcho, I'm gonna react to how Logic how Logic Corny song save this generation.
The U.S., there are families who still have their son and daughters with us today because of a track by Logic. People have escaped self-termination urges and their families have avoided unimaginable grief, all because of someone considered to be a nerdy rapper from Maryland. And whether you're a fan of Logic or not, his story shows the sheer power of music and hip-hop. Logic is not your run-of-the-mill rapper. As a teenager, he was a massive Tarantino fan and realized that the score of Kill Bill was written by RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. He then started to preach.
I like Logic. I think he's a nice rapper. I think he's nice, bro. He fire. His song is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
Appreciating hip hop more and its capacity to tell stories. This curiosity of hip hop grew into an obsession and evolved into him becoming a rapper himself. His early mixtapes demonstrated a high level of lyricism and a range of flows and was heavily inspired by East Coast hip hop acts such as Wu-Tang, Nas, Black Thought, and Jay-Z. He was good, and he knew it. In 2010, he released his first mixtape and told himself that he was going to be on the XXL freshman list. And in 2013, there he was, on the freshman list. Fast forward to 2015 and he had released his second commercially and critically acclaimed album. He should have been on top of the world. Instead, he was in the hospital. He had a panic attack and was diagnosed with derealization, an anxiety-inducing disorder where you feel like you're outside of your own body. Logic was at a crossroads where he could continue rapping or leave the music world behind. Logic's decision in 2016 was to continue touring despite feeling incredibly depressed. He was all too aware of the shelf life rappers have and needed to stay relevant. He told the New York Post, "I was on a tour bus crying, saying I can't do this anymore." But Logic soldiered on, and one of the things that made touring a lot more bearable was visiting fans. During a 2016 tour, he traveled from LA to New York and started hanging out with fans city by city. When meeting all of them, he kept hearing the same phrase, "Your music saved my life." Logic says he wasn't even trying to do this, but he realized the power he had as an artist. What if he literally tried to save people's lives? So he eventually came up with the song 1-800-273-8255, which is the actual number you call for prevention in the US. It appeared on his 2017 album Everybody, and his Logic taking the perspective.
Oh, I remember that song. That song is fire, bro. He got other like artists in there too, like in that song too, like Alyssa Cara, and Khalid, bro. I believe. Yeah, that song is a really, really good song. Really fire song, bro. Really underrated song. I ain't gonna lie.
Of someone on the line contemplating self-termination. Towards the end of the song, he takes on the perspective of the person on the other line saying he doesn't need to die. The central message is that these feelings are temporary and not the way to go, and it was more of a poppy sound than Logic's regular rapping. It was released as a single in May 2017 and as a music video 3 months later in August. But a life-changing event happened toward the end of August when Logic was called up to perform at the MTV VMA Awards. On that night, Logic delivered a memorable performance of 1-800, where he brought on stage survivals of self-termination attempts and families who had lost someone through taking their own lives.
Like he's helping those people who been through like depression and all that people who want to do harm to themselves, like he wants to help those people that have that think about harming themselves. Like, damn, that's good, bro. That's fire, bro. That's good.
The awards were also commemorating the death of Linkin Park's Chester Bennington, who had recently passed in the same manner. So Logic's song was the perfect way of putting a positive message on that topic. But the most startling thing of all was what happened after that performance. It was reported that the hotline received 50% more calls than usual, and this was clearly no coincidence. People were making that leap and getting the help that they needed. He soon made it to number 9 on the Billboard charts. It was clearly not just listened to by Logic fans anymore and had taken on a life of its own. It had gone way beyond hip-hop audiences and was Grammy nominated for Song of the Year. He lost out to Childish Gambino's This Is America, but was also asked to perform at the Grammys as well. And just like the VMAs, something strange happened afterwards. Calls to the 1-800 number had tripled. There was a clear correlation between Logic's song and performances and people reaching out. And this surprised hip-hop and music fans everywhere, but it also particularly interested researchers in self-termination prevention. This was a case study that they needed to pay attention to. Just how powerful was this song? Professor Thomas N., a professor at Medical University of Vienna, decided to lead a study into this and see how Logic's song impacted self-termination prevention. They looked over a 34-day period which covered the release of the song, its performance at the VMAs, and its performance at the 2018 Grammys. The hotline received an excess of 9,915 calls after each of these three events. This was an increase by 6.9%. During the same period, the expected number of deaths dropped by 245. So it was assumed that the wide publicity of the song, the increase in calls afterward, and the resulting decrease in the number of self-termination events were all connected. Essentially, a song by Logic saved over 200 people.
Yeah, that's good, bro. That's good. People that like that want to do that, like want to harm themselves, think and hit this song, save their life. It seems like it. And people like want to like harm themselves. Was thinking about it, but they heard Logic's song, and that saved their life. It seemed like it.
And there's a slight chance that this could all be coincidence. The study admits that. But at the same time, for three separate things to happen at the same exact time, purely out of coincidence, is also unlikely. When the topic of self-termination is delivered to a mass audience in media and entertainment, it can have both positive and negative effects. These are what's known as the Werther and the Papageno effect. The Werther effect is the horrifying consequence that when self-termination is represented in news or entertainment, there are sometimes copycats, and the number, sadly, goes up. 1 month before Logic released 1-800, Netflix released a series called 13 Reasons Why. The National Association of School Psychologists released a warning statement saying its powerful storytelling may lead impressionable viewers to romanticize the choices made by the characters and/or develop revenge fantasies. And they were correct. Following the show's debut in March of 2017, there was an increase among American teenagers. On the other end of the spectrum is the Papageno effect. This is when it's represented, but the person has overcome their issues. A good example was in 2019, when Pete Davidson was rumored to have had these thoughts, but later appeared on SNL and explained that he had come out the other side. And this is also the story of Logic's 1-800. The person wanted to leave, sought help, and came out the other side.
That song really must have must have really helped people like who's like going through that. Like that song really like must have like helped them like better, like to like better themselves.
Fine. When the young impressionable audience is fed this information, it helps. So with all this being said, the song has not been met with universal approval. And just because you agree with the message of a song doesn't mean that you have to like this song too. The song can be seen as a bit corny, particularly the who can relate part, and because it has such an agreeable message, it's been accused of pandering. Joe Budden has referred to Logic as the Pander King when referring to Logic's music in general. Joyner Lucas has also accused him of stealing his idea to have a phone number as a song title, as he released his mixtape 508-507-2280 around the same time. But I think the most valid criticism online is that he simplifies it. The person in the song rings the hotline, is told about how great life is, and is miraculously cured. In reality, the helpline is to break you out of a thought path and lead you on to seeking help through other means. Although, how complicated can someone make something in a song that's supposed to be 3 minutes and palatable to the widest audience possible? And And there are socioeconomic problems such as access to all the different help that someone in the situation would need that may not be available. That being said, Logic releasing a pop song that fully encapsulates the complexity of this issue is asking a bit too much of really anybody. His job was mainly to get the conversation started and spread awareness, and he achieved this. And as Joyner Lucas said, I'm not going to bash him for that record, but it's important not to look at Logic's 1-800 song in isolation. The YouTube channel Genius pointed out that during that same year, XXXTentacion was rapping about the self-termination of his friend Jocelyn Flores, and Lil Uzi Vert dealt with these either metaphorically or literally during his song EXO Tour Life. And also, the advent of SoundCloud, emo rap, as well as artists like Lil Peep had probably shined a brighter light on these issues as a whole, alongside Logic. Logic may have saved a generation in 2017, but if we look further back, there have been other rappers who have saved lives and gotten people out of traumatic situations. We mentioned Pete Davidson earlier, and he had something incredibly interesting to say in 2016, which was a year before 1-800 came out. He was on The Breakfast Club, and when speaking about hip-hop, he said, "Kid Cudi's the best of all. He saved my life. I would have been gone if I didn't have Kid Cudi." He added, "If you're 25 and under, I believe Kid Cudi saved your life. I truly believe if Man on the Moon didn't come out, I wouldn't be here." So before Logic, there was Kid Cudi. And before Kid Cudi, maybe it could have been Kanye, or who knows who else. Ultimately, the discussion of mental health in hip-hop is nothing new, but it's probably a bit more prevalent than it used to be. You can even trace the topic of mental health struggles back to hip-hop's early beginnings when Grandmaster Flash was talking about a jungle inside his head in The Message. And there's no doubt that songs like Tupac's So Many Tears and DMX's Slippin' have also helped people through tough times. Biggie also even had a song called Suicidal Thoughts. I'm sure you have songs of your own that you think probably saved your life, whether that be literally or figuratively, maybe metaphorically, maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but pulled you out of a dark time in your life. Hip-hop has been and always will be about self-expression.
Okay, that's the vid. Yeah, let me know what y'all think about this, bro. Are y'all fans of Logic? Have y'all heard of his music? Let me know if you did. If you're not fans, then let me know. And also, do y'all think that song that Logic did, um, with the numbers, do y'all think that like save people? Like, do y'all think that save people, or no? Do y'all think Logic's music like save like people from depression, or like do y'all think he's like pandering, just pandering, or don't really care? So let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. Where visual chicken, you are.